Well, if I haven't had a chance to meet you, my name is Dave, and I get to speak to the bosses in the room. I get to speak to the leaders. In verse 9, it says, "And masters, do the same things to them and give up threatening, knowing that both their master and yours is in heaven, and there's no partiality with him." And what this is saying is that although you and myself might be in a place of authority over someone, that responsibility has been given to you, that God does not see one person as more important than another. And there's this little gentle reminder that, yes, you are in a place of authority over so-and-so, but I, God, am in authority over both. And so that means that you treat that person the same way you would treat any other person. And even if the culture gives you permission to do certain things, or your authority says you can do certain things, it changes things a little bit. And I wanted to take my time and I wanted to share a story, I think, that illustrates this point really, really well. I want to take you back to the very first job that I ever had. It's the very first career. It's the first time that I had a salary. I worked at a radio station. I worked at 98.9 KISS FM here in town, and I did nights. And the way that radio works is that everything is all programmed out. Like all the songs that they play, the DJ's not picking those. There's someone that is on staff that does that, and days beforehand, all that stuff's picked out. And even like where the DJ is going to talk, like between what songs, all that stuff is determined. All those breaks are determined. And so I'm looking at my hour and I'm planning it out. And I'm like, I want to do this funny bit right here. And I want to tell this joke here. And I want to put this phone call in the air here. And there was these things called liners. Liners are little scripts that the radio station would put together. And some of these scripts would talk about contests that they were doing. But some of these liners, businesses would pay for the DJ to talk about their business. Now, obviously, these weren't my favorite. I like doing the fun stuff. I like doing the entertaining stuff. So what I would generally do is I would take all the things that I wanted to do and I'd plug them in all the holes, and whatever was left over, that's where I would put the liners. The other thing I need to tell you about radio is that they generally like you to keep the music going. You don't get to stop the music very often to do what you want to do. And so you only get the intro of that song to talk, to do whatever you want to do. So there might be, 15, 20 seconds between when the song starts to when the person starts singing, and that's what you get. So here I am planning everything out. The very last break that I have to do is 3 seconds. I have a 3-second break to do a liner for a car dealership. And so this is how I did the break. 98.9 KISS FM. If you're looking for free stuff, join Jack Elliott at David Stanley Chevrolet this Saturday. I did the liner. Okay, so the next day, I'm in the break room. I'm eating my dinner before the shift, and my boss walks in. His name's Ray Calusa. Ray walks in, he sits next to me, and he says, "Hey, I want to issue you a challenge. I have an idea for you, because I did hear the show last night, and I heard that break you did for David Stanley. And the thing is that businesses do pay for those, and if they were listening, they might think to themselves, they didn't get a return on their investment. I didn't get what I paid for. Not just in the brevity and the fact that it was 3 seconds long, but also the only enticement I gave was free stuff, which is not necessarily the audience that they're looking to draw. They're looking for people that are in the market for a car." And he said, "So you're a creative guy. I want to issue you a challenge. I want to issue you the challenge that instead of the liners being the thing you have to get to, make the liners the bit. Make it the joke. Make it the rail that the joke goes on." And the light bulb went up. I was like, oh my goodness, he's right. I can think of 2, 3, 4 things I want to do right now. This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. Great. Thank you so much. And he just smiles and he walks out the room. And as all these ideas are floating through my head, all of a sudden I stop. And I'm pretty sure I said this out loud. I just got reprimanded. Because that conversation could have went completely different. He could have pulled me in the office. He could say, "Look, you did that liner. You did a horrible job. Businesses pay good money for that. It pays your salary. You do better or else." And or else, see, in radio is very cutthroat. And he had the authority. He had the right. He could have fired me for that. And the culture around that, no one would have batted an eye. No one would say, "Man, Dave got a hard breaker," and none of that. There would be 9 people in line waiting to fill my spot for the show the next night. and no one would have cared. But instead, here's a guy that came alongside of me and not only helped me to kind of see a little bit more the vision of what the business was trying to do. Not that I didn't know that businesses pay for the liners, but just helped me to better understand that. Not only did he do that, but he offered a creative way for me to still be me as a creative person, but still meet the needs of the station and the advertisers. And I've never forgotten that. That moment has been etched in my brain for the last 20 years. And I've always tried to take that and work that into how I lead. You know, I went to go on and be the program director at another radio station. I eventually got into book publishing, and I led an entire production team. Even my leadership opportunities here at the church, I've always tried to do that, because I think that's what Paul is trying to convey in this, is that we're all equal in terms of our importance. We just happen to be on different places on the org chart. And never mind the fact that you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar. And so a week later, I put this phone call on the air. Now, full disclosure, this was staged, and this is normal. This is very typical in radio, where a guy calls up a radio station and just wants to request a song, and you're like, hey, I got a funny joke, I got a funny bit, you want to help me out with something. You tell him what to say, and you get all that stuff. And so anyway, a week later, this phone call went on the air.
98.9 Kiss FM, brand new music from Smash Mouth. That is All Star. Hi, Kiss FM.
Yes, is Jack Elliott there?
No, he's left for the day.
Well, do you know where I can find him?
Yeah, he's going to be broadcasting live tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 4 at David Stanley Chevrolet. They're rolling out those new Malibus, and he's got T-shirts to give away.
Well, good, because he still owes me $50.
Man, that guy owes me money too.